things first, I'd like you to breathe in with me and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Creator Source, I ask your permission to be a conduit of healing and a clear channel. Help me remove any blocks, any judgments, any expectations on the outcome, as I bring forth what is needed in these holy moments for the highest good. One of the things I like to do when I'm channeling at home is I have these really cool bowls, and frequency is a huge part of our entire universe. And these bowls are very, very cool. They're bell metal, they ring for flippin' ever, but I find it's a great way to get me in the zone. I will also be holding a labradorite piece, which is a crystal that helps channel higher energy, and it's just something that I'm very used to doing, so that will be part of this as well. But these are gorgeous bowls, and they're almost in a slightly out of tune, so it gives you that binaural beat vibration, but they're pretty cool. So I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. And they're really pretty, aren't they? Greetings on this most joyous winter day. We are glad to be here with you and share greetings from all of your angels, guides, and ancestors who are with us here. Congratulations to you for being here and choosing to expand who you are. You are a piece of source energy, you know, the power that creates worlds. Through that power, you can change the manifestations around you should they not meet your expectations. Through that power, you can spread love and unity. And through that power, some choose to do the opposite, which tends to get all of the coverage in your news. But we're here to tell you it doesn't need to be that way. In fact, the time is now for it to change, should you choose to let it change. Free will is a gift that is bestowed upon everyone walking into this incarnation. We are available to everyone through thoughts, through feelings, through a pull in a direction, in one direction versus another. That's how we work. We are not spiritual GPS. We don't tell you where to go. We inspire you in a direction. Each one of you has that voice within you that Paul David spoke of in his introduction. Listen to it, follow it if you choose. But remember that that voice is not the loud screaming voice you hear every day. That is your personality. The personality is a different construct. The personality is here to help you navigate in this 3D world. But it is only an aspect of who you are. Think of it like a piece of clothing, like a shirt or a coat. It represents you to the world while you're wearing it, but it is not actually a part of you. It's something you've chosen. It's something you put on. But the eternal you, your soul, the piece that is source energy, the piece that is eternal, is not the same as personality. Now, the personality is loud, it's present, it feels, it hears, it smells, it tastes. it touches. It's the thing that makes this simulation come to life. When the souls got together to create this world, this universe, this vibration, they came to play with energy, to move attention and manifest new things, to take thought and experience where it hasn't been before. But to play, you had to forget that you were a piece of all of it, that this was all your creation. So the personality was created to come into this world and forget that it's a part of source energy. And then through moving its energy through choices, oftentimes fraught with peril, for that's the excitement, it would manifest a world and a reality in which to live. Now, some of you, when we said the excitement of the perils, paused for a moment. Think of it like a roller coaster. That anticipation as the car climbs to the top and leans over, and the exhilaration of knowing the fall is coming, and the rush where your stomach is suddenly in your ears, and you get to the bottom and, oh my gosh, that was fun, let's do it again. That's life from your eternal perspective. From the personality, however, you don't know when the next rise and fall are coming in the roller coaster of life. But that's what makes it exciting. If you can step back from your story and remember that you are eternal, that you are not the clothing you're wearing, the personality, it allows you to have a little bit more fun with this grand adventure called life. But that can't be easy to do sometimes. The stories are loud. This incarnation hurts sometimes, especially for those of you who are getting older. Things creak where they didn't creak before. Be conscious of where you're putting your energy. Step back from those stories, even those stories, and realize you're eternal. Sometime our clothes get holes in, so we mend them. That would be your responsibility, to take care of your personality, take care of the body. There are things in your world to help with that. More in the natural world than you've really tapped into. But pharmaceuticals exist as well to help you navigate those aches and pains of aging. But in this process, we encourage you to step back from the story and see it from the divine perspective. Energy goes where attention flows. That's a mantra you should learn today. We say it a lot, and we mean it. What you focus on is what manifests. In the loud 3D world, the experiences not preferred are just that, loud and painful and noisy, and they easily draw your attention. When you find yourself in an experience not preferred, we're going to encourage you to change your focus. Focus on something else. Find your greatest joy. Put your energy towards that. And we know that when my house is burning down, or I've lost my job, or everyone I know is ill, how can that not be real? And we tell you it certainly is real. But what we're saying to you is those experiences are there to guide you to finding things that are more preferable for you. When you see something that has changed your world, it's a wake-up call for you to focus in a different direction. So take your energy and focus on the things that bring you joy. When you focus on those things that bring you joy, more of that vibration will come to you. Let's unpack that for a second. You are a vibrational being, just like the bowls that were struck at the beginning gave off a vibration. You are a vibration, down to your very atoms, where the molecules are swirling around, giving off waves of vibration. As you vibrate energetically, those items that are like that are drawn to you. Think of it like a car driving down the street with the bass booming and the vase on the shelf vibrating with it. It's called entrainment. That happens to you as well, emotionally and energetically, with how you are being. If the vase is vibrating and you don't want it to vibrate, you pick it up. You change its orientation. It no longer vibrates. The shelf still vibrates, but the vase itself does not. That's the same thing that happens with you. If you are focused in an area that you don't prefer, pick up the vase, pick up your energy, change it into a different direction, and suddenly it will not be doing the same thing it was. The trick in this is catching yourself when you're in those non-preferred experiences and redirecting your attention. That can be a bit of a challenge because, again, the non-preferred experiences are loud and bright and shiny. And the preferred experiences, which haven't manifested yet, are quiet. And there's that moment of doubt. But we're going to challenge you today to know, like you know your name, that when you change your energy and focus on something preferred, that energy will begin to be drawn to you. This time of year in your calendar is full of joy and happiness and love and possibility, but also is fraught with loss and lack and fear. We're going to ask you today, which do you prefer? If you prefer the lack, the loss, the heartbreak, most surely focus on that and it will manifest. If, however, you prefer the joy, the love, the possibility, we're going to encourage you to focus on that instead. But some of you say, the lack, the fear, what's going on in the world right now is real. I know that it's real. And we would say, keep focusing on it, and it will most certainly be real and continue to be real. If you change your focus to the things preferred that may not have manifested for you at the moment, it will slowly begin to change your energy. And when you change your energy, you change the outcome. But isn't that a lie? Isn't that false? For what I see before me is real. And we would tell you, energetically, everything is real and every possibility exists at every moment in time. But the secret to that energy, the secret to manifesting what you want, is to pay attention to where you focus. Where your attention goes, the energy around you flows. If you focus on non-preferred, that manifests for you. If you focus on preferred, that will manifest for you. Now, it isn't an instantaneous piece of magic like snapping your fingers, because the tapes and patterns that are in your head play over and over. Your job as a piece of source energy, as a creator of your experience, is to make the choice to change your focus. Patterns and habits are part of the personality, and they pull you so quickly back when you're not focused on the change. We would remind you that your job is to be a conscious creator, if you choose, versus an unconscious creator, which happens by default. Unconscious creation is the playing and repeating of patterns and tapes over and over that have been programmed by the personality in this incarnation. To be a conscious creator is to understand those for what they are, let the patterns and tapes go with grace and love, and choose to focus in another direction. Think of it as reclaiming the things that serve you by changing what doesn't serve you and taking it out of your area of focus. Some faith traditions have talked about rebirth, being reborn, born again, those kind of words. They would be applicable in this only so much as that you aren't giving up what you used to be, you're just reframing it to the way you want to be. For all the pieces of you have served you, they've gotten you where you are. There's no point in, well, you can't let them go because they already were. What you can do is you can move to heal them by letting them go with love and light and changing your focus. There was a lot on your internet recently about the holiday you just passed through, the Thanksgiving, from the Americana perspective and also from the Native American perspective. Not everything you were taught in grade school is true. I know that may come as a shock to you. And there certainly were tragedies bestowed upon multiple people in multiple races throughout the human history. Part of reframing it and refocusing it is to understand what transpired beforehand and then simply not doing that again. The best honor you can pay to peoples who have been wronged in the past is to change behaviors in the future moving forward. Now, let's unpack that for a second. That's a pretty loaded statement, we understand. Everyone is a part of source energy. Everyone is eternal. Every soul and being that has walked your planet still exists. They have never not existed, just as you have never not existed. They will never not exist, just as you will never not exist. Each soul comes into this incarnation with certain experiences that it wants to get done in a lifetime. Most of you refer to that as a life plan. That's a fair statement. But again, as we said earlier, walking into this incarnation, there's the veil of forgetting. You put on the personality, and the personality has free will. So as you walk through your soul plan, things can change. Each experience and each soul is guided by their angels, guides, and ancestors through the same gifts that you have, through their intuition, through their thoughts, through their feelings, through that pull that guides them along the path. And through their free will, they make choices and have experiences. When experiences are not preferred, many of those are part of the soul plan for the soul to grow and evolve. Sometimes someone who is homeless in a previous incarnation was a wealthy king and chose not to show charity to those in their care. So this life, they're balancing that energy. You wouldn't know this from a human perspective because it doesn't come with a playbook. But from our divine perspective, trust everyone is in the care of the Most High. Everyone is walking a path they need to walk. So when experiences have happened that have been not preferred, that was for a reason. As we have said, you can continue to focus on those experiences and call it bringing attention to them. And you will certainly bring attention to them. But by attention, we mean your energy. And what happens when you focus on something? Energy goes there and manifests more of that. You can honor them for sure, but the best honor for everyone that walked before is to choose to live a different path, manifest a different outcome by changing your energy. Honor what came before, but move forward focused in a new direction. That will need to sit for a while. That's a harder one to chew. We understand. There's always something not preferred around every single corner if you choose to find it. What we're saying to you is, notice it, acknowledge it, send love, and then take your attention and focus in a different direction. When you focus in a different direction, the energy around the unpreferred experiences dies. Because energy goes where your attention flows. That's the role of a conscious creator. Entering your holiday season, choose to reclaim this time of year. Choose to spread the joy of the season. Choose to find unity with those around you. Choose to assist and help those who are in need. For it is a wonderful thing to give. But just because you're in a giving mode, don't forget, it is a wonderful thing to receive. For when you open yourself up to receiving, you open yourself up to the opportunity for others to bless you. They can change their energy by you opening up to receiving their energy. For some of you here today, that's harder than the first part. It's easy to give. It's easy to continue to give, but giving so much and choosing not to receive is not a balance. And everything in this world, in this incarnation, is about striking a balance, even between the personality and the ego. So as you go forth, what we're going to suggest to you today is to find the joy. There will be experiences you do not prefer, most certainly. That's called life. When you find yourself in an experience you don't prefer, as a conscious creator, we want you to catch yourself and realize, hey, this is an experience I don't prefer. What we're going to ask you then, as the conscious creator, is to change your focus and find something you do prefer, and focus on that. Just like going to a gym, you don't lift one weight and become buff. It takes repetition. It takes practice. It takes increasing the difficulty to grow and become stronger. The same is true of your spiritual journey. While everyone possesses these gifts, so many have let them go dormant. Dormant is not dead. Dormant is just dormant. To wake them up, be conscious of this and begin finding the joy. Begin continuing to find those moments preferred when faced with moments not preferred. Understand, everyone and everything is in care of the Most High. Your angels, guides, and ancestors are always watching over you. Again, we hear, yes, but there are things not preferred that have happened. There's loss, there's death, there's all these terrible things. And we would again remind you, you do not know what these souls came into this incarnation to do. To do so is arrogant and incorrect. Trust that everyone is in the care of the Most High. Send them love by all means, but change your focus lest you draw that energy to yourself. Change your focus lest you draw that energy to yourself. The closest vibration to love is joy. Find that little moment that warms your heart. Feel it. For the head and the heart both need to be in balance for all of this to work. The head is the seat of your personality, the clothing you wear. The heart is the seat of the soul, who you truly are. Both are required to navigate this thing called life. When you find those moments that give you joy, feel that joy in your heart. Don't just think it, feel it. Let that feeling wash through you. That is how you change your vibration, for your heart is a gateway to the ether. Let that energy radiate through you. Find those moments that bring you it, be it giving a gift, be it listening to a carol or a song, be it helping another person, be it cooking, be it shopping, be it decorating, whatever that might be for you. Find that moment and let it bloom through your heart. That will change your energy. That will change your vibration. There's so many things to share with you, but let's take it one step at a time. Today, remember your personality is just a piece of clothing. Your soul is who you are eternally. To help you get your head around that, think about yourself, and to pull yourself back from your story, picture yourself over your left shoulder, looking down and seeing you where you're sitting now. We would ask you, who's doing the looking? That is the real you. What is sitting in the seat, the vehicle that you're here driving through this life, is an aspect of you most certainly, but not you. When you can begin to understand that separation, but also remembering both are needed for this incarnation, your goal then is to strike that balance. That will begin to make life easier for you. The second thing we leave you with today is be conscious of where you're focusing your energy. This is going to be a little bit harder because there's a lot in your media and your news and what's going on in your world right now that is loud, that is brash, that is hard to watch. We understand that. Again, what those souls are experiencing is not your business. Focus on it, most certainly it will manifest. Focus some other direction, and that will manifest. Energy goes where attention flows. We will open ourselves up now to any questions you might have about anything we talked about today or what is going on in your mind. And you can just speak whenever you want to.
I, you know, I agree with everything that you're saying. And I'm getting I get like the numbers. I get like I get 1111 all the time, every day, and 111 every day, and sometimes like 4 times a day. And I acknowledge it, you know, I notice it and I acknowledge it and I say thank you, but I don't know exactly what it means, because some interpretations are like, hey, you're on the right path, keep going, or whatever, and some other people say, well, you know, your guys are like, hey, change your focus, or like, you know, tap, 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 change your focus. So I'm not sure how I interpret
Sure.
the signs, the 111 and 1111.
Humans get awfully stuck on the right meaning.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right,
We're going to say to you that when you see it and you acknowledge it,
Mhm.
what is happening in your world at the moment,
right,
and how are you feeling? Because the signs that you choose, and that is a choice of yours, and many others,
Mhm.
are there to simply acknowledge that more is going on than you know. It would be a call to pay attention
Mhm.
versus change or don't change, because again, source energy, spirit, angels, guides, ancestors, all the same thing,
Mhm.
will not tell you what to do with your life.
Right.
Will not tell you how to leave it. So if it were a sign that says, hey, change your direction,
Mhm.
that's telling you how to live your life.
right.
But if it's simply a sign acknowledging, pay attention,
Mhm.
that is what signs are truly for.
Mhm.
Anyone can read anything into anything,
Mhm.
and most everyone in this, well, actually everyone in this incarnation is making it all up, right? So give yourself some grace. Acknowledge the fact the signs are there for you. And first of all,
Yeah.
we say if you're catching 111 4 times a day, don't forget to get some sleep. But be aware that it's a sign to simply say, we're watching, we're here.
Mhm.
Pay attention to what's transpiring around this time,
Right.
so you are awake to make a choice.
Mhm.
And that's true of all signs. Signs aren't there to tell you which way to go. They are simply there to say, hey, wake up. Something is happening you should pay attention to,
Mhm.
so you can make a conscious choice versus a subconscious choice. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Helpful?
Yes, and I do, when I acknowledge it, I think, I do pull back and I say, hey, what's going on right now? And sometimes it's just like, there's nothing, you know what I mean, like, I'm getting out of my car to go to work, or, you know, like, there's nothing really, I mean,
See, and that's where you're not quite correct.
I know.
What it did was pulled you into the eternal now, into awareness.
Yeah,
And sometimes that's enough.
yeah.
Right? Taking you out of that, well, especially driving to work, that autopilot of,
Mhm, mhm.
you know, how did I get here? I thought I was 20 blocks back.
Yeah.
The sign is to pull you into awareness, into the now, so you can be present for your incarnation. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Something is always happening. It just,
Right.
there's a song that Paul David likes called There Won't Be Trumpets, Barbra Streisand. And it talks about how when the moments happen, there aren't parades and trumpets and angels and loud choirs
Mhm.
going, ah, but it just happens. And
Mhm.
that's more of what life is. It's
Yeah.
the signs are there to wake you up to say, hey, pay attention, be in the now, because this is where everything is transpiring, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
What is the 31 comment here for us?
So 3i Atlas is here as a sign to wake you up to the fact that there's something more. Within the next couple of years, there will be, well, let's back up a step. You're not alone. To think you're alone in this universe is foolish. Source Energy has multiple incarnations on multiple planets, in multiple dimensions, in multiple vibrations. 3i Atlas is here to say something is coming and there's more going on in your world than you know. We would encourage you to look around this planet first and acknowledge all beings as part of Source Energy, for everything is. From the crystal in Paul David's hand, to the dog running down the street, to the mice in the walls, all is a piece of Source Energy. 3i Atlas is here to say, there's something else coming, and you should be prepared for it, for it is also of Source Energy. We did speak about this in the channeling that Paul David gave you, the 80 days of channeling. We unpacked that a little bit more. But really, the call is simply the trumpet, if you will, before the big event. The big event will not have trumpets, it will not have fanfares, it will just simply be. This is the call to, again, like the 111 or 1111 signs, it's a call to wake up. There's something more going on. It's to get you to wonder. And wonder is a wonderful place to be, for as a conscious creator, you are all to take thought and experience where it has never been before. What if, what if, what if? If you can stay in that place of what might that be, that's what Third Eye Atlas is to do, is to stir within the human race. What if? Because what if is coming. And a benevolent way, not like your movies. Unless you focus on it, by the way, because there are beings in the galaxy that are malevolent as well. So again, energy goes where attention flows. If you focus on the negative, you most certainly will bring that to you. If you focus on love and joy, you will most certainly bring that to you. And so 3i Atlas is here simply to awaken you to those possibilities. Make sense? This is a great day. This is a great place to be, if you choose to see it that way. Embrace love, embrace joy, understand that everything in your world is source energy. Everything in your universe is source energy. The phrase namaste, the God in me recognizes the God in you, is something we would love for you to contemplate this season. For in some traditions, they talk about God with us as a name for one particular incarnation. And we would say to you that that incarnation's words were to remind everyone that they are all, that you are all part of source energy, that God with us is God in us as source energy in us, as we are all part of all that is. When you start to see everyone, even those that piss you off, as source energy, as a piece of you, it changes how you interact with them. The call for this time in the human race is one of unity, which is why the divisions are so strong. People are afraid of things that are not the same as themselves because they feel then they are wrong. That is not the case at all. If you look at a woven tapestry, all made of one color, it's lovely, but there isn't any depth to it. Now that same tapestry, woven with golds and browns and blacks and silvers and whites and blues and reds, suddenly has depth, has perspective, has color, has vibrancy. That's humanity. But it requires the different colored threads to provide that vibrancy, just as life requires the different perspectives to create the diversity, to create the depth. None of those perspectives are wrong. They're just different. When everyone starts to understand that and stop being threatened by things that are not the same as them, and allow them to live in love and light, for the universe is taking care of everyone the same way, then things can begin to change. And the time is now. There is definitely groups of people squashing down that diversity, attempting to squash down that diversity. We would tell you the more they tighten their grip, the more diversity leaks through their fingers and spreads. You can be part of that change by being love and light, by standing in your truth, by consciously focusing your energy on things you prefer. Will not preferred experiences still happen to you? Yes. That's part of the design. But think of it like the gym. Those are your opportunities when those not preferred experiences come for you to change your energy, to consciously move in a different direction, to gain strength in your spiritual path. When you do that with consistency, your world will change. We are here for you. We're here for each one of you. We are always listening, and we're always speaking. The quickest way to hear us is how we began today. Breathe. Just breathe and listen. We are not going to shout, for that is not our way. That's the way of the world. But we are always there with that little tug, that little pull, that still small voice. Go into this season with joy and love. Be conscious of where you put your energy and help change and heal your world.